storytelling manual. The project is the folk tale. It's a 7 to 9 minute speech. The objective is to deliver the folk tale with a nice tempo and a nice rhythm. And the areas you would like your input in are confidence in his delivery. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce sales engineer in the field of industrial automation, who loves gardening, bird watching, and playing bingo on Saturday nights, Mohammad Khouja. Made in China, Mohammad Khouja.
Good evening, Madam Toastmaster, fellow guests, and honored fellow members and honored guests. Good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Cheryl. Appreciate it. As I was thinking to prepare this speech, I thought something that has been on my mind for a long time since I work in the industrial field, and I get involved in manufacturing, and I see how many of the stuff that used to be made in the United States gingerly for the past, I would say, 30 years, started migrating to China. So there's a slow exodus of the manufacturing capability went to China, and now we start getting product from China. That by itself has not been a great blessing to China. For us over here, most manufacturers, as they saw that their dollar income has dropped, they come up, if you remember, about 15 years ago, they made an America campaign, and they would have the American flag on the products that they made. You remember that? Mm-hmm. So they made an effort. We have to stop that. We have to let the people know, if you buy American product, you're supporting the American manufacturer. You're supporting all of us that works over here. That went on for probably about 5 years and then fizzled, because we noticed the people who stopped and did not partake in this exodus to China, they found out they're losing. So they joined. So suddenly the Made in America campaign dropped. We don't hear that anymore, correct? Now we look around us now from the Chinese perspective. Few are benefiting from that effort. However, for the average Chinese worker who migrated from his village to the main city, that lives in a substandard environment, working 6, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. We hear stories of people jumping from roofs, committing suicide. Hasn't been great for the people. Hasn't been great for the environment. If you remember in 2008, when the Olympics took place in China, they had to stop the traffic, I think in Beijing, one of the main, Shanghai probably, for so many days, so the smog would clear, and finally the Chinese people that lived in that city could see a blue sky, and all the visiting people coming to China will get to breathe without using, actually masks or what have you. You remember that? It was pretty big in the news at that time. So you could tell it really hasn't been good for China. They're really suffering from that. About 10 years ago, there was a shortage for neodymium magnets, which is very powerful magnets that's used in high-performance motors. The reason the entire world stopped producing these magnets, because the process of producing the magnets is so polluting. Everybody stopped, except China. They continued producing these magnets because they did not care. Suddenly, the cost of the magnets went super high. And who's benefiting from that? China. As you can see, I'm justified in Chinese outfit today. By the way, incidentally, the U.S. Olympic team uniform was made by a Chinese company. But it has not always been that case. We really have to be fair to our Chinese friends. It hasn't been always like that. There was a time where things were different. And that brings me to one individual back in late 60s, early 70s. One man made a difference on behalf of the Chinese people. He introduced us to an art. Like any other nation, they have their own arts. The Romans, the Greeks, whomever, they have their own type of arts. China, not strange to that, they have their own art. There you spoke about art. We'd appreciate that. China have unique art nobody else has, which is the martial arts. So this individual, the legend of Bruce Lee. Anybody here who's probably 50-ish, remember this resurgence of Bruce Lee in the world. This man, one individual, 134 pounds, 5'7", made a huge difference, a huge impact to introduce us in the West and in Europe, in Africa, to the art, to the Chinese art, to the martial arts of China, Kung Fu. This individual, growing up in Hong Kong, when he was a teen, his father, he was a troubled kid, so he sent him to Seattle. I guess there's some Chinese community in Seattle. He sent him over there, move away from Hong Kong and expand a new life. Almost 18 years old, joined college, studied philosophy, and started promoting what he knows best, which is the art of Kung Fu. So he started teaching other fellow students, found Linda, married Linda. Linda was a great promoter for him. So he started getting better and better and showing the people the beauty of the martial art of Kung Fu. People noticed. So they invited him in 1964 to the International Martial Art Championship in Long Beach. So this guy walks in, and I said, I'm going to showcase these people who's playing Kung Fu, karate, taekwondo, or something else, the true martial art. So without saying anything, he stepped up, and he did the push-up with one hand, with 2 fingers. I don't know if anybody could do that. Super, super difficult. Imagine one hand, makes it easy. Everybody, wow, amazing. So now he wants to show his power. So he brought an individual, and he was trying to promote something that he had showcased before, which is the ability to punch somebody from an inch away, and from probably push him 4 or 5 feet away. So he brought in a volunteer, put the chair behind him, 1 inch, boom, the guy fell on his back. Everybody said, wow. People took notice of that, and he took pride in what he's doing. Here, Howard comes knocking. You want to take advantage of that. So he saw an opportunity here to expand to the world. What martial arts, what's this art of Kung Fu that has been hidden in China for 4,000 years, mind you. The art of Kung Fu is very closed. The Shaolin Temple, they're not allowed, to expand to the outside world. It's very closed. They keep it to themselves. And he didn't want to do that. So he partaked in movies and came up with these wonderful martial art movies that was different from the rest of the movies at that time. If you remember, that movies at that time was very crazy, flying, and one person could kill 100 people, that kind of stuff. He humanized the martial arts. The beauty of expressing yourself with combative movement, fluid, like poetry, like symphony, not just beating somebody up. And it brought some honor to that, because he would, you wouldn't go and attack somebody. And if you're in school, a bully, hurt people, it wasn't that case like that. It was like, yes, I can defend myself and I can defend others, but with beauty and with honor. So he wanted to have a beautiful career, and the entire world were mesmerized, especially the girls. I'm not sure about the girls as much as it was more like a guy thing. They were mesmerized with this art that he developed. He risked everything, because in the Chinese community here, they did not like that he was sharing this knowledge with the non-Chinese people. And they actually asked him to stop, and he refused. And then they gave him the ultimatum, then you have to duel. And if you're a victor, you do whatever you want. And if you're not, you cease. And mind you, you are fighting now a Kung Fu master. You're not a weak person, you can get hurt, you may die. So he took that challenge, and he was victorious. He was hurt, but he was victorious. And from that point, he was left alone and went on to teach many, many people, including movie stars, the art of Kung Fu. Until today, there's nobody like Bruce Lee with his charisma, with his power. Until today, everybody knows about Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee himself showed us what truly means made in China means. Thank you, everyone.